What an atmosphere, what a crowd. It is crackling. Red and white in the Stretford end, blue and amber in the scoreboard end, and all places in between filled with colour. The Super League Grand Final is upon us. Brian Noble and Andrew Henderson alongside me for this one. It promises to be an absolute scorcher of a game.
Yeah, I can't say anything but something really exciting, dramatic, thrilling, balls fills, exciting football. And then there's Andrew Henderson on the commentary as well, so that's even better. So we're really going to make a big go of this. It's the culmination of what's been a really good season. A red-hot Leeds team playing superb football against an absolutely magnificently consistent St Helens team. They're going to show their wares tonight. It could go either way.
Yeah, it certainly could, but what a fantastic event, a fantastic occasion that we're witnessing at the moment here at Old Trafford. I mean, there's a fantastic energy around the arena. You know, I certainly felt that as I came in. You know, both sets of supporters from Leeds and Saints creating a fantastic atmosphere as we're about to get kick-off underway. But again, it's going to be a fantastic contest. We know that. We've got St Helens, who, as you've rightly said before, have got the muscle memory of doing it time and time again in recent years, know how to win on the big stage, and I feel have got another gear in the locker that they can raise the bar to, which if they do, I'm not sure Leeds will be able to live with that and contain that. The challenge as well for Leeds, albeit they've been in fantastic form, riding this crest of momentum. Now, the challenge is they've had two big games, going to Catalans in the playoffs, fantastic performance, backed up with an exceptional performance against Wigan last week. Can they produce that again 3 weeks in a row? That'll be the challenge for this group of players.
So St Helens get us underway, and that traditional roar which greets the kick-off here at Old Trafford sets the hairs on the back of the net standing. And Leeds Rhinos will get first dibs of the football with the big pole, the England international Mikołaj Aleczki surging forward. All about the early phases. We know that Saints like to come out firing, blow teams away. Leeds are going to have to stand up to that early doors.
Just for our listeners, the game is being played in slightly different conditions to what we normally see. We're 3 weeks early, remember, because of the Rugby League World Cup, and these are dry, fast, clinical conditions. Normally there's a bit of rain around, there's a bit of damp weather. It's darker. Normally we're 3 weeks into another hour loss of light, and so this could make a huge difference to the game.
Blake Austin puts up a real spiral bomb that was swirling about in the air, taken in by Tommy Makinson. He had to stretch out, hands out in front of him there to gather that ball in, but he took it. I saw Blake Austin in the warm-up. He was putting up some real, what you might call carrier bag stuff that was coming down anyway.
Yeah, he does. He has got a very kicking game as Blake Austin, and they'll be looking for him probably to do majority of the kicking for them this evening. So expect a lot of heat being put on. Oh, that's no good. Penalty there, high tackle. Bentley.
Yeah, Tommy Makinson looks to carry the ball from backfield. A winger with plenty of pace, plenty of elusive footwork, and James Bentley, who's a tough old nut, former teammate, of course, left him a little high. And that will be a penalty. Well, I say a little high. It was a right shot around the head, wasn't it? Then? So 0-0 here, early stages. A dramatic finish at the cricket at Lord's. Melissa Story.
Well, there's been a controversial finish to the game here. Charlie Dean man-cadded at the non-striker's end. Essentially, she was run out as the bowler was in their action. Dean was outside the crease. It's within the rules of the game. It's controversial, though, because some people say it's against the spirit of the game. An unusual end to this series, but it means India win 3-0.
That's Melissa here. St Helens edging closer to that Leeds line. 30 out on the scrum line's right-hand side. Knowles to Lomax. Lomax touches it. Away here. Saints will stampede in. Opening try of the game. Inside the first couple of minutes here. That is the fastest grand final try. Matty Lees beats Scott Naylor inside 3 minutes.
Well, Wellesby's the architect of this. He screamed around the back to cause panic amongst the Leeds defence, which left Johnny Lomax alone with a big hole to run through with Matty Lees on his outside. The architect, trust me, he's overloaded the left-hand side, and Wellesby was the key. He went late and he went hard, which spooked the Leeds defence, let Lomax go through the middle, and Matty Lees is on the end for a Brilliant opening score.
Yeah, what an amazing start here for St Helens, and it's all as a result of the penalty that James Bentley conceded by the high tackle on Percival, and it's a nice sweeping move, nice wide pass to Johnny Lomax, and it's Helens that just leaves the scene. Now, his responsibility is Lomax, but he's worried about, as Brian alluded to, what's going on outside him, and the inside defence from Matt Pryor just couldn't get there quick enough to cover his teammate, as Johnny Lomax made the right decision. He saw that Helens had just left the scene, rocked out. That showed the opportunity for him to show and go, make the initial half break, and fantastic support play from the front row, and Matt Lees on the outside to finish off the try. But for me, it was the width of pass, that width of pass from Roby to Lomax. That then put a lot of pressure on Matt Pryor, who was the A defender, to have to try and cover the space on the inside for Helens' system error. But fantastic opening try.
So Tommy Makerson from the tee extends the lead to 6 points to 0. What a start from Saints. We said they'd come out rocking, and they have rocked Leeds with a real sucker punch on the back of the penalty. How to make pressure pay.
Well, it was a well-executed, well-planned move. Something from the training ground, absolutely. Width of the pass, a lot of movement behind, causing a little confusion in the minds of the Leeds defenders, and well executed.
So all the onus now on Leeds, who have gone behind early doors, although during their playoff campaign so far, that hasn't fazed them one bit. Hardacre with the restart. His experience will be key. Speaking into him in the build-up, he was saying 10 years ago, 12 years ago, he was the young gun who was being guided by those experienced Leeds players. Now the impetus is on him to give out that guidance, give out that leadership. But it's Saints in possession here. 6 points to the good at this Super League Grand Final at Old Trafford on 5 Live Sport. Ignatius passing. Big ball of Tongan muscle as he stomps his way.
Strong carry.
Up to the 40-metre line centre field.
Yeah, big passy there. Great carry from the big man.
Wide pass to Lomax. Batchelor cuts back infield off that right-hand side. 3 Leeds players around him. Stopped on halfway. Centre field, Roby, who's the architect, finds Lomax running at pace, throws out to Hopawate. Now Hurrell running at Sutcliffe. Big carry from Tongan.
Wow.
Rip snorter, Conrad Hurrell.
Do your best. When Hurrell gets the ball and Parsi, you got to get in front and aim up.
Lomax dinks one into the corner. The chase is on. Good take, though.
Wow.
Brilliant take at the back by Leeds Rhinos. And Richie Myler, who came through the crowd, called his ball and took it cleanly.
Yeah, superb catch there from Richie Myler. He was under a lot of pressure there from the kick chase team, but you can see the line speed of St Helens really ripping off the line, throwing their bodies and launching themselves into the Leeds Rhinos players carrying the ball. And Austin tries an early kick.
Well, referee has blown up here, Liam Moore. So Tom Briscoe.
Oh, you're kidding.
Thought he was in, but that's ridiculous.
Giving Leeds a penalty.
That was a perfect chap. Beautifully executed kick from Austin.
Oh, you're
Briscoe's
kidding.
away and they've pulled it back. That is ridiculous.
Oh, you're kidding. Brilliant.
Wow.
He's pinged him for offside, hasn't waited the result of what's happening. Wow. Just for our listeners, it's a set play from Leeds, a kick play from centre field in their own half for the winger to go down because of the shortened defensive line of St Helens. And what Liam Moore's done is quite rightly pinged them for being offside because of their enthusiasm, St Helens. He hasn't let the play unfold. He hasn't let Blake Wallace. He hasn't let Blake Austin get the benefits of that kick. If he'd have played on, I reckon Leeds are down the other end for 6 points.
And you're spot on there, Brian. That was definitely part of the game plan. That would have been a pre-planned move that they practiced this week at training. Yeah, they would have recognised that there was an opportunity to exploit that. And what they're trying to do there is they're trying to get St Helens now to think about filling the field or not being as tight, in that area, which then may allow them to get some play-the-ball wins and some metres coming forward out of yardage.
Hardacre, arcing run forward here for Leeds. Up to the 40 inside the St Helens half. Gerard O'Connor, who's a bit of a tackle machine. Cameron Smith out to Reece Martin on this left-hand side. Leads Johnny Lomax on the floor with his carry as he rampages forward here for Leeds. O'Connor sweeps a little pass to Smith. Now into Mikolaj Helens, the big towering pole who drives his way inside the 20 here for Leeds. looking to respond on the back of that early try. Tetevano aims up out towards Austin. Tackle around the waist that time from Curtis Siranen, who drags him down on the 10-metre line. On the right-hand side, Leeds come back to the middle. Myler sends up a kick. It's swinging in towards the in-goal. It's been patted back. Smith tries to keep it alive, and it's poached here by Saints. And Saints come up with the ball.
One-on-one steal.
Leeds have got it back through Martin. And they are throwing here. O'Connor. It will be trucked in again by Oleczki. Now to Austin, and Tetevano spills it. Leeds had the ball in possession. They didn't have the composure to execute the play.
Well, everything's gone on in the space of a minute there. We've had a great kick from Myler. Competition. Was the Saints player offside? It didn't matter because Rhys Martin stole the ball off him. We'll have 6 more. And then they put the ball down. I reckon the referee needs a rest. This is one pace, fast pace.
Super League Grand Final, 5 Live Sport, Brian Noble, Andrew Henderson and Matt Newsom here from the Theatre of Dreams, whose dreams will come true. The Saints 4 in a row, Christian Wolf's farewell, or will it be Leeds and Rowan Smith winning it from 5th? Plenty of time to go. 9th minute of the game. Makinson trying to take Saints on the front foot into the Leeds territory, but it's Lomax on to Parsi, again aiming up with that big frame, but Leeds get numbers in to track him down. It's like an oak being felled as Roby sweeps to Lomax, away to that left side. Curtis Siranen showing little regard for his own safety as he goes careering into that Leeds defensive line, up over halfway left hand side. Now in field it goes to Welsby. Welsby drops off to Parsi, who goes back into the traffic again. 40 out, nice little offload. Oh, his tackle's already been called held, says Liam Moore. So it's the last one here for Saints. 40 out, centre field. Lomax has time to get the kick away. It's not a particularly deep one. Makinson wins it, pats it back. Batchelor tackled on the 20. Not a bad place to turn it over. Leeds have the ball.
Yeah, I think Johnny Lomax is in St Helens, therefore strategy on the kick. He's going to be kicked to Leeds' left-hand side and try to get it as close to the line and near to the sideline as possible. Look, Johnny Lomax has gone back there 3 times now, so an indication that they feel that Ash Handley, who's been a bit green, hasn't been in and around along, is the kick 2 person.
Matt Pryor, twice an NRL Grand Final winner down in his native Australia. The boy from Wollongong, I say boy, he's 35 years old these days, so on the veteran status, but he could be a double Grand Final winner if Leeds get the job done today. Smith, short ball onto Martin, ran a really hard line right through the Saints defence, but he was just about stopped that time. Myler takes it into the teeth. Sutcliffe loses his footing. There's the tackle, and Saints turn the ball over. 15 out from their own line here.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that'll just be probably disappointing coach Rowan Smith at the moment. The last couple of sets they've had with possession, they haven't got the outcome to the end of set that they'd like. Just not turning the ball over in their terms. You know, we saw Tetevano squander an opportunity, and then obviously there, the run play option on last play, not sure it was the right option. And they tackled well outside the 20. So these big games, and Brian Noble will tell you that, field position is key. You're not going to get many opportunities. You've got to be clinical when you do get those opportunities, but it's all about where you turn the ball over. And again, for me at the moment, Saints are just enjoying the better of the field position and opportunity. As Siranen spins out of a tackle there, Matt.
Yeah, he's almost through, poking his nose into that line, and he was stopped just about 25 metres out here. Saints purring into life again as they edge towards the line. Matty Lees already has 1 try in the bank. Last tackle 15 away. Centre field here, Saints. Come to the right-hand side. Lomax running at the line. Lomax is tracked down just short. But again, they are making Leeds work hard.
He's having such a dig tonight, Johnny Lomax. He is Mr. Go-To. If he's not taking the line on, he nearly threaded himself through a needle there. Was looking for a penalty at the end of it. But again, they turn over the ball a couple of metres from the line, quite the opposite as to what Leeds are doing with the ball when they get it end off.
Absolutely.
Well, Kevin Brown, I think it was, who did say, mind you, Liam Moore, just having a chat with Cameron Smith and Morgan Knowles. It is testy, it's a grand final. Tempers are expected to fray. Play the ball 5 metres out here for Leeds, in front of their own goal line. O'Connor finds Tetevano, can't clear his end because Saints are so quick off the line, shutting down the play. Physicality to the fore as Leeds and Pryor collide, and Batchelor makes a challenge third man. They are putting shots in here. Smith, little short
Nice
ball,
play.
almost through Alechki. Batchelor drags down along with Roby, but Saints being worked close to the ruck here by Leeds. Nothing particularly expansive, but they're gaining ground and they've just about wormed their way out of their own end of the field here. Austin, slippery feet from him as he's almost up to halfway. And the set finishing on a much better terms than Leeds might have hoped as Myler puts up a horror of a kick, swinging about all over the place. It's been allowed to bounce. Leeds will get it back. It's still on the last here. Here goes Sutcliffe to get a kick away, and he will just look for territory. Hapawate takes it at the back, and Saints right back onto the front foot here. Saints lead by 6-0.
Well, in the best kind of way, this game has got chaotic. People are not kicking properly because of opportunities that they're seeing. Absolutely brilliant end-to-end stuff. Will hold their nerve.
International football on this evening. Northern Ireland against Kosovo at Windsor Park. Chris Coles.
And Northern Ireland's dismal relationship with the Nations League continues because Kosovo have just taken the lead. Vedat Marici, Kosovo's all-time top scorer, shooting from the edge of the penalty area, beating Bailey Peacock-Farrell. Just moments earlier, Northern Ireland had a goal ruled out for offside. 58 minutes played, Northern Ireland 0, Kosovo 1.
Not good news for Ian Barraclough's side. Not good news for Leeds at the moment either, because Saints last tackle just outside the 10. It was Parsi again wreaking havoc. Lomax plays out the back. Hapawate trying to feed his man. Leeds Rhinos scramble to the fore and bundle Saints to touch, and that rouses their fans at this end of the ground, the scoreboard end. They're up on their feet.
A brilliant defence of Leeds. It was a feature of their semi-final win last week against Wigan. They were battered for 40 minutes, Matt, and held their line. They're doing a similar job here and need to against Saints, because Saints will keep coming, replicating all the things that they're trying to exploit this Leeds team with. But I tell you what, people talk about the way the Rowan Smiths improved the way that Leeds play football. They certainly bend their backs pretty good too.
So Leeds trailing here in possession. St Helens leading by 6 points to 0. Let's go down to Kevin Brown at pitch side. Kevin, what have you made of the opening sort of 14-15 minutes of this one? Well, we'll hopefully hear from Kevin Brown shortly. We'll come back to that one. Here comes Leeds and Cameron Smith. It'll be O'Connor. Plays out the back to Austin. Austin slings it downfield. Good kick here from Leeds. Has he found touch? Yes, he has.
Fantastic.
What a kick that is from Blake Austin.
Is it 40-20?
It is indeed. It is indeed.
It has turned the tide here. Leeds were drowning at their end of the field. One beast of a kick from Blake Austin, and they are right into the attacking fray. They get the tap where the ball went out, and that puts them right in Saints' position.
I love it. Beast of a kick.
Yeah,
I love Matt's description.
It was though, and again we spoke about it early in the call about the variety of kicking game that Blake Austin will offer his team. It's just been a little bit unfortunate in some of the other end of sets. He's been caught with the ball on the last tackle, so Richie Myler's had to step up and try and manufacture a couple of plays, but again just shows the quality of Blake Austin's kicking game when he's on point.
O'Connor to Tetevano, the big Kiwi, rumbling into the defensive line as he's tackled on the 10. Won a grand final with the Sydney Roosters. Smith, short ball to Martin. Martin spilled it. The Saints fans are up on their feet. John Benison clears his end of the field as well. Saints get away with another one there because Leeds are getting into positions and just not finishing off.
I reckon he scores there if he takes the ball. He's trying to create a one-on-one on Lomax. So he's trying to get Reece Martin onto Lomax, so it makes it a one-on-one difficult tackle for Johnny Lomax, who's clearly smaller. And then they're giving a penalty away now, Leeds, in trying to back up their efforts defensively. So I think now you'll find the key, running at the small man of St Helens.
So Lomax goes to touch. Let's try Kevin Brown again, Kev. What have you made of the opening 16, 17 minutes here?
Yeah, it's been so fast, and I think the difference that I can see from pitch side is the line speed and contact from St Helens at the minute. It's just replicated what they've done all season, and I think when they've got the ball, they've just looked much more cohesive. When Leeds have got it, they've looked dangerous, but they've often finished with a drop ball or a turnover and then backed it up like they've just done with a penalty. I'm not saying they're out of this game, but they're hanging on, Matt.
Kevin Brown there, England international, former England international, of course, played in that World Cup final back in 2017. He'll be part of the BBC's crew for that World Cup going forward. Coming up in 2022, the revisited World Cup. Here comes Conrad Hurrell, who will be featuring in that World Cup for Tonga. Tackled just outside the 10. Hopewate infield to Roby. Now it's the ball players on the ball. A bit of silk. Now it's all about steel as Parsi rumbles into the attack. And he is tackled just inside the 10. Centre field, last tackle here for Saints. Lomax, will he go for the kick? Instead it's Wellesby. There he goes, the kick. There goes the try. Diving into the corner. Super work, or is it? We're going to the video referee. Brilliant kick to the corner. Sean Bennison was brave amongst the flying feet, and he might just have got Saints a score.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to go to the video ref, Matt, but I think you're right. I think it's try time.
Yeah, Ben Thaler is the video ref. Try on field decision.
All available angles, please, on the onside and offside, and then through to the grounding of the ball. So we paused on the foot. Everybody that on the left hand side is onside, so we can play it on from here, please. Stay where the player on the right is. He stays completely out. So this is just onto the grounding, nice and slow. Thank you. I'm happy I've seen all available angles I need, and I've now made that
I think
decision.
you can tell by the reaction from the stadium. They saw the grounding. That was what Ben Thaler was looking at, gents. I think we're about to see Saints confirmed. A second try of the game. Sean Bennison, who was the hero against Salford, might just be the hero again here in this grand final with a second Saints try. Awaiting confirmation. Everyone's looking to the screen around Old Trafford. The tension being wrapped up here, and there we have it. Saints have a second score, and it's John Bennison.
And it's Johnny Lomax that's the architect in chief, because Leeds are defending really well. You have to say that, and the only way you're going to break down this Leeds defence is find a small kick game, and they did that because they're one-on-one defensively with the Leeds team. Johnny Lomax threads the needle. John Bennison finishes it off first on the front foot. So that they're really adapting themselves as St Helens. They're looking at what's in front of them. They've done the homework, and they're finding chinks in this Leeds defensive armour.
Yeah, I don't disagree there, Brian, but I think it's also indicative of the patience that Saints have played with. You know, we've seen the fact that they've enjoyed probably the better of the field position. I think they've earned that field position off the back of their defensive intensity. They've really made it difficult for Leeds to get out their own half. But again, they've been patient in the right areas of the field. They've made good decisions. I think Johnny Lomax has been at the hub of that, made a lot of good decisions with the ball. And then obviously their fantastic try extends the lead. But that is a St Helens team that's been clinical, taking the opportunities. When you look on the flip side with Leeds, they've had a little bit of field position, haven't been clinical, haven't been turning the ball over enough on their terms.
Making some with the kick then from that left-hand side, and he nails it in front of the Leeds fans. Saints 12, Leeds still here on 5 Live Sport. It's the champions, the reigning champions, who have built up a lead here in their 4th straight grand final.
I pick up on a point that both Kev Brown and Andrews made. Leeds have not been patient enough at the right end of the field. They've got down the other end of the field but not stayed there for long periods, and Corso compounded that by giving penalties away and 3 metres for this Saints team. They haven't had to work hard once to get out of their own half St Helens.
So the restart here from Zach Hardacre. Old Trafford, 2 of their 3 triumphs have come on this ground. 2019, when they won it for the first time in 5 years. And they have been back to the showpiece and shown that champion quality, and they're showing it right now. Roby from Achin Harv onto Parsi. It's relentless fare from him, isn't it? It's just like a battering ram.
Oh, he's been impressive, hasn't he, this evening as Ignatius Parsi. He's been a real handful for the Leeds Rhinos players to contend with.
Used mostly as an impact off the bench, but no Alex Wormsley. He's had to carry the mantle, him and Matty Lees, and Matty Lees played big minutes at the weekend against Salford, and it looks like he'll do the same today.
Oh, well, they can't handle Parsi at the moment, is the reality. He's offloading at will if he wants, and here's another. His partner in crime, Conrad Hurrell, smashing up the middle. They're 2 big fellas with 2 great offloads in their carries.
Yeah, a little soft hands, gets it away. Sirenen keeps it out wide. Skittering back in field here through Percival. Percival crabbing, now Parsi hits the hard line. It's just like a freight train trucking forward, and they're inside the 20 here. Last one for Saints. Roby onto Wellesby with that hunchback style almost. Hopewate back to Percival. A little flick pass to Wellesby. Kicking behind, was he held back there by Bentley? Referee will allow them to play on, but Saints push Leeds back. And it's a dropout to come. They are turning the screw on Leeds here.
Yeah, it's relentless, isn't it, from St Helens? They're building pressure, they're applying pressure, and the Leeds Rhinos will have to defend their try line once again. They're going to need to defend it well because the mood that Saints are in at the moment, there's a lot of variety in their attacking play. They're attacking the right, they're attacking the left, they're turning the ball back against the grain, back under, they're hitting out the back. They're really challenging and asking a lot of questions of this Rhinos defensive line. This is a massive defensive set here for the Rhinos to stay in this game. As Parsi winds up now, Matt.
Oh, goodness me, he's inside the 30, just careering into contact. He's struggling to absorb and stick. Batchelor's turn to soften up the right edge this time. Roby tracking the play. Lou McCarthy, Scarsbrook on for Parsi, who has run his blood to water here. Lomax running into space and then finding Knowles. Knowles with a little creep forward. Tackle just inside the 10. Roby gets a quick play of the ball. All the shapes on that left-hand side. Short ball to Siranen. Leeds make the tackle, though, through Tetavano this time. Just a couple of metres out. Left of the posts. Swept back to the middle with Lomax. Ball out the back, it goes to Hopawate. Away to this right-hand side with Hurrell. Hurrell attacks the line at pace. Taken to ground by Leeds. Leaving defenders strewn all over the place here. Hopawate back in field to Lomax, who knocks on. First time, Saints haven't got it right, and Leeds, well, their fans greet that one like a try. 12-0.
I tell you what, Sutcliffe's doing actually a good job on Conrad Hurrell. He's having to take a few mates with him, don't get me wrong, because he hits the line out, but he's stopping the blow.
He's absorbing him, isn't he? He's absorbing him.
And that's a let-off. That's Johnny Lomax's first mistake, the knock-on at the end of a set.
It wasn't the best pass from Hopawade, to be fair. It was around his ankles, but as you said, that's probably the worst outcome they've had in this half. But they still turn the ball over inside the opposition 20, and you can just see, penalty awarded.
Yeah, Leeds get a bit of a jump start here.
They needed that.
20 metres out from their own line here. Saints 12, Leeds 0 here on 5 Live Sport. Catalan Dragons coach Steve McNamara is part of our team this evening. He's down at pitchside. Steve, if you're in Rowan Smith's shoes here, what's going through your mind?
Well, they'll still be happy with that penalty, and the two Saints tries have come off the back of penalty sets here, so it'll be interesting to see what Leeds come up with. But look, they've been under a massive amount of pressure. The 2 scores down on the scoreboard. They need to keep it at that at least here, and if they can get one back here, they will get some confidence.
Steve McNamara, pleasure to have him on board with us this evening. At Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams. Leeds trying to switch away to that right-hand side. Bentley comes onto a line, lovely little pass away. Hardaker has to reset back to the middle though. O'Connor, Tetavano coming from right back to the centre here. Leeds are being swarmed upon by those red and white shirts.
Great footwork from Tetavano there. He evaded about 2 players with his fancy footwork.
Yeah, not hard, not an easy task for a big man. And Bodine Thompson, who really aimed up against Wigan, he's on off the bench here. Aledzki, arcing run from him, and he's almost through, dragging Saints defenders along with him. Tackle just short of the 10 here. Leeds looking to open things up. O'Connor taken in by Myler, out the back to Austin. Great ball to the corner. Couldn't get the play right. Saints scrambled. Saints swarmed. Saints come up with the job.
It's another poor entry. Set, be patient, just hand it over on the line. Briscoe's kicked the ball out and give a 7 tackle set from the 20. 100%. They're just not having to work hard out of their own half, St Helens.
100% there. And again, I'm not sure why they went down that short side. Saints had a lot of numbers defensively, so I'm not sure it was the right area of the field to be attacking, but in saying that, he could have just hit the short ball. Hardaker could get tackled in the corner and then really front load your energy defensively and trying to force Saints to kick from inside their own half, which, like you said, they haven't had to do all this half so far, and making some with a good carry. And you can just start to see now the meters being made by Saints, and Leeds just haven't got that same energy off their defensive line as the Saints do.
Roby turning big forwards back on the inside.
Great run.
Back into those middles, those Leeds middles whose lungs will be throbbing at the moment here. Lomax swings away to the right side, out to Hopawate. Conrad Hurrell, a mismatch. Conrad Hurrell as he slid his way to the line. I think he slid his way to touch.
And I thought it was over. I don't think he's over. I think he's into touch. Boy, he went close.
Yeah, just over the line, wasn't it? Just over the whitewash, but he's going to look for that. The Saints are going to look for that. The big man, Conrad Hurrell, trying to get a mismatch out on this right edge and get his way over the line.
Just to pick up on Steve Mack's point about keeping themselves in the game, Leeds, that's one of the players that kept them in the game.
Yeah.
But that was a 100-metre set from St Helens.
Yeah,
100 metre from Leeds having the ball. So they need to help themselves a little bit here, Leeds.
Certainly can't fault the energy, complete scramble from them there, and they've had to cover each other once again to save the day. But like you said, too many metres being made from the Saints team at the moment. Leeds need up their defensive effort coming out of yardage, that's for sure. But what will help them with that, Brian, is by turning the ball over in the right areas of the field on their own terms, allow them to get their line set, marker set, and they can really ramp up defensively.
25 minutes gone. St Helens 12, Leeds Rhinos 0 here in this grand final. 4 times in 5 years Leeds had Saints number at this famous old stadium. At the moment the tide is turned. It's Saints the side in the ascendancy as Austin sends a kick up. He got some kick pressure there, that's for sure. It's been patted back by Saints, dived on, still scrambled loose in the end.
Somebody's knocked it on here, I don't know who.
I think Liam Moore appears to be saying.
I think it's Hardacre knocks it on. It'll be a Saints turnover, head and feet. Head and feet turnover.
You're mixing your metaphors there, Brian.
Yes, that's a scrum with a turnover involved.
So, Brian Noble, former Great Britain head coach, involved at Bradford these days, where he won 3 Super League titles. We've got Andrew Henderson alongside us, Scotland international, distinguished career, currently the head of rugby at Keighley Cougars. And it's Saints who are driving up through the middle, but there's some intent from Leeds defensively here to send them back the way they came from. But they got a quick ruck here because there are a couple of Leeds players trapped behind it. Makinson trying to find the front inside the Leeds Rhinos half. Morgan Knowles has made way for a little bit of a break here. Lomax with the pass. What a good tackle that is from Reece Martin.
Great tackle, nothing wrong with it.
Now it's all going on.
Now it's on. Oh, it's getting tasty, man.
Jack Wellsby came flying in. He didn't like something about the tackle. He's certainly getting tested. Cameron Smith found himself on his backside. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook's involved at the end of it all. Johnny Lomax is back up on his feet, and I think that's the key thing. Well, it was just a good hit from Reece Martin.
I'm with you, man. I thought it was a really good, solid tackle from Reece Martin. He just dumps Lomax. Fair play, I thought. And then, for some reason, a couple of Saints players, they didn't like what they saw.
Let's see how the tackle ends up. I have a sneaking suspicion it may have been put onto his head. So let's have a look at it. Lomax goes down. No, that's a fair tackle.
Fair tackle.
Fine.
Nothing wrong with it.
It's a controlled drop,
Absolutely.
Jack Wellsby getting involved, trying to throw some handbags, and Reece Martin said, I'm not having that from you, young buck.
Gareth Hurl seems to be laughing, which is that's perhaps it's just his general demeanour, isn't it? He always seems to be smiling about something.
That's a superb tackle for me.
Will the adjudicator took his legs above the horizontal? So there's his technical issue that we had at the start of the game in relation to what we're doing to our players in the game.
That's a great tackle.
I don't think his body goes over the horizontal.
No,
but
I
his
think
legs kind of go a bit akimbo.
I'm with you. I think it's a fair tackle, legit tackle. Nothing wrong with it. Jack Wellsby obviously saw it differently and thought he'd sort of get himself, throw his weight around.
Matt, you think that's a legs akimbo tackle?
That could be a new grading, couldn't it? 2 games for a legs akimbo tackle.
I'm with Hendo. That's a perfectly good tackle for me. In fact, a vital tackle.
So for me, I'm thinking the penalty really should go to Leeds here for Jack Wellsby coming in and interfering with the ruck. Agreed?
There would be a penalty overturned, wouldn't it? Yeah, feasibly. Yeah. If mind you, we were saying there was no problem with the initial incident, weren't we? So, Reece Martin has been pinged here. It is a Saints penalty.
What for?
And it looks like Tommy Makinson saying take the 2, which in a game of fine margins, I think there's a discourse here. Some players want to run it. Tommy Makinson, the tactician, says let's take the 2 on offer.
Yeah, that's a smart move. I think it's a smart move. It means it takes the game now to 3 scores, and it's a smart move to take the 2 points on offer. I'm disappointed for Leeds that that's the case.
That's not a penalty.
That's not a penalty, I agree. But what I am enjoying is the way St Helens are attacking. You know, they're really attacking over the gain line. They're moving fast, playing over the grass on the front foot. I'm loving the options inside, outside, out the back. I think
Lomax is outstanding, isn't he?
He has been instrumental in organising and running this attacking display from St Helens this evening. But what I'm liking is there's 2 points of attack. They're going to hit your short side, they're hitting your long side. There's plenty of people in motion. A lot of options for those ball players going to the line, and more often than not, they've made good decisions with that, and they are really causing a lot of problems for the Leeds Rhinos and asking a lot of questions of their defence.
It's funny, we heard from Joe Batchelor, didn't we, in the build-up, just as Tommy Makinson's about to kick this. He was saying it's hard. People don't realise what it takes to beat a St Helens player and play the style. Makinson's pulled that across the face and it hasn't found touch, or it hasn't found Ian Gold. And then it's a high shot, is it here? No, referee says play on.
Oh, it's given the high shot.
The crowd's won that penalty for him.
Yeah, Sione Matautia straying on maybe that time.
The rugby gods, they answered. Hendo and me said that wasn't a penalty, and so he made Makinson kick. And they get a penalty as well. They needed that, Leeds, because they are fingernail stuff at the moment. They're hanging on.
But just going back to that Joe Batchelor point, it's like what you were saying. When Saints attack, there's so much push. When Saints defend, there's so much zeal, fanaticism about getting into the tackle, numbers into tackles, scramble, slide, everything. They do everything almost to the kind of up and degree, don't they?
Yeah, well, that's
Absolute
what they do. You can see everything about St Helens is they invest in the start of their games. They really look to come out the blocks, don't they? They almost say, listen, this is us, come with us, if you can, type thing. And they really try and just, I suppose, take the sting out of any team early doors, like you said, with the energy and the intensity that they defend with. They really front-loaded the effort areas really well. You see a lot of inside pressure, a lot of marker tackles, a lot of kick pressure. You see the line speed going together. It's fantastic to watch. It really is. And then, like you said, Matt, the great way they attack as well. When they're on the front foot, they're in that vein of form and in that mood. They're really exciting to watch.
Austin swings the kick away.
Christian Wolf's reign, for me, the way he's changed St Helens is defensively, because I think they've always been able to add an idea on what they want to do with the ball. I think his mark and his stamp over the last 4 years, you play us, you've got to be tough to beat us, because we know how to defend as well.
Brilliant offload that time by Conrad Hurrell, and he managed to get his man away, but he's feeling the effects of it, isn't he, Conrad Hurrell? Nice little flick. James Bentley caught him high, likewise Modean Thompson had him up top. Got the offload away, but maybe at a cost here as he's being spoken to by the medical staff. He's almost just got an Alan Prescott arm, hasn't he? Just sort of swinging to the side of him.
He's done something.
So it'll be Roby inside the 30 metres. They come with Matautia, who's played a bit on the edges of late, but he's straight through the middle as a big ball runner that time. Lomax again puts the kick into the corner. Makins is chasing it. Mason comes down with it. Flick pass, finds Benison, now finds Hurrell. They're trying to keep it alive here. Wow, Saints chance their arm, and might they do so. 12 points to 0 up, but Leeds survive. 8 and a bit to go till half time. Saints 12, Leeds 0.
And look where they turn the ball over, St Helens. Makinson leaps above Myler, brings the ball out, gets rid of it. 3 or 4 Saints hands again. You have to give credit to the Leeds defence. They got scrambled and made them sure that Saints weren't over again. Defending Hurrell right at the death.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I love it. The competitive nature of this Saints team. They just compete, but then equally you see the same competitive nature in the Rhinos. It's making for a brilliant contest, but again, you touched on it there, Brian. It's where they're turning the ball over, and time again in this first half, we've seen St Helens turn the ball over in this right-hand corner, 5, 10, 15 metres off that try line, and then the way they front-load that energy defensively has been making it really, really difficult for Leeds to gain any sort of field position or have any say in this game. On the flip side, Leeds have failed to do that. They've not been able to finish in those corners. They need to just get those end of sets better for me, certainly in this second half.
Well, it's not quite ropered up. But we saw Leeds with an occasion against Wigan last week where they were battered for 40 minutes, but they were pretty level on the scoreboard, on 1 score behind.
Yes.
They're 2 scores behind. I reckon they get to half-time, and there's a few words of wisdom in there. They're a chance still in this game. 100%. They really have to hang on towards this first half run.
So Tommy Makinson back up on his feet. Leeds about to play the ball again down in their own end. Saints 12, Leeds 0. Kevin Brown down at pitch side. We've just been eulogising about Johnny Lomax. One of the points you made, I think, beforehand, Kev, was that the team that finishes their sets better will get the rewards, and I think it's borne out, hasn't it, so far?
Well, at the minute, there's a distinct variation in the St Helens kicking game. They've got this right-hand corner boxed off with Johnny Lomack, but we saw for the try assist from Jack Wellsby, the variation is just giving a headache to Leeds. And when Leeds are kicking the ball, often it's Blake Austin just putting the spiral bomb up, so that's going up and it's a bit of a lottery. But I'm just listening to what Nobby's saying about last week and the rope-a-dope, and it is similar. I just feel the energy that Leeds are expending, to stay in this game is probably even greater than last week, because at the minute it's taking every effort and every little bit of sinew to keep Saints from going further in front.
Kevin Brown there, part of our commentary team and our analysis team here tonight from Old Trafford. Saints leading by 12 points to nil. They are in possession at the moment. I mean, we saw again another Blake Austin kick. We've also seen, and we haven't seen it in the playoff game so far, Cruz Leeming introduced far earlier. They're looking for that spark from dummy half, aren't they? That Roby's just given Saints there.
Yeah, I think that's what he's done. I think Ryan Smith's looked at it, and he's obviously noticed that they are probably struggling to go forward and get out of their half, and they need to offer something different, and what Cruz Leeming will bring is a different dynamic around that ruck area. He has the ability to run, he has the ability to bring people on the ball, he has the ability to kick, he has the ability to bounce out and create opportunities.
Well, there's an anomaly. So Saints have made an error and knocked on and given Leeds some field position pretty much on halfway, trying to be expansive. Let's see. Yeah, there's a knock on there from a Saints player.
So Saints 12 at Leeds 0. There's been a goal at Windsor Park. Northern Ireland against Kosovo. Here's Chris Coles.
Equaliser for Northern Ireland. The 2 second-half subs combining Shane Lavery for Gavin White, who smashes in from close range. And Northern Ireland have 7 minutes to try and find a winner. Northern Ireland 1, Kosovo 1.
That will have prompted some scenes at Windsor Park here at Old Trafford. Leeds trying to spark some scenes of their own here. Zach Hardacre on the outside of that Saints defence as he was dragged down just short of the 30-metre line. The rangy fullback who was playing centre at the moment, doing a good job as Tetevano looks to take Leeds forward through the middle here. The hulking figure, and it's a penalty that goes Leeds' way. Just waiting for the call here from Liam Moore. What he's seen go on in that particular incident, I haven't seen this.
Well, they're saying it's a ball steal. Batchelor's pleading his innocence.
So it'll be a tap here from Leeds. They will go for it here. They will run it. They will take it inside that 30-metre zone. They come with Bentley that time. He provides plenty of their biff and bash, and it's Hardacre too. Now they're edging into range as they're inside the 20. Cruz Leeming, who is the metronome from the centre of the field now. Tetevano on to O'Connor. O'Connor trying to push his way through, but he's met by some stubborn and powerful resistance there from Saints. Batchelor making the challenge. Cameron Smith flings a pass wide. Myler so close to the line, but he's held out. Brilliant work from Saints. Sutcliffe, they'll go again here through Martin. Pirouette attempt from him, the PNG back rower. The Papua New Guinean held out that time. They'll go through Leeming. Short ball to Sutcliffe. More defence from Saints. Super Saints. Wow. Defend their line with aplomb.
Well, that's all right for me for Leeds. They've had a crack at Saints line. Saints have stood up. Leeds have been standing up other than the kick plays. And I reckon they're at the right end of the field to hand the ball over. This next defensive set for me is crucial for Leeds. They've got to restrict Saints' territory.
Well, I think that's the first time, Brian, that that Leeds, when they've been in good ball field position, as we see the intensity and the line speed, and that's what it does when you turn the ball over in a corner. It allows that to happen. You get your line set and your market set. But what I was going to say, the point I was going to make was, I think that's the first set Leeds have had in Saints' half in good ball, and actually got to the end of set and finished on their terms.
Just over 4 minutes of this first half remaining. St Helens in control on the scoreboard. Leeds trying to make it a little bit nervier for them on the field as Curtis Sirenen runs
great
into
carry.
Bentley and then just bounces off like a rubber ball on a squash court. And it's hacked downfield by Roby, trying to turn Leeds around here. Myler takes it inside his 10, looks up and sees Tommy Makinson after him, and then he sees Joe Batchelor after him. Those red V-shirts hunting impacts.
I've just got to reinforce what Kev Brown said from the sideline about the energy of this Saints defence. That kick chase, 34 minutes in, was outstanding.
Leeming finds Ash Hanley, who's been quiet tonight. Only just returned from a foot injury. He's been one of their talismanic players this season, Bodine Thompson.
Good
with
carry.
a wrecking ball carry from him.
Sit down, Connie Hurrell. He gives him the big don't argue.
And then Leeming forces Hurrell into the high shot with that little footwork from Marker as he tried to tackle Hurrell.
Well, take about Bodine Thompson and Cruz Lehman.
Yep.
Bodine Thompson comes up with a big carry, which finds a win, which means it's a disorganised Saints defence. Cruz Lehman smart enough to, if I run here, I'm going to get a penalty. Exactly that happened.
It was a duck and a bob and a weave from Lehman, and he almost got a head wrapped up, and then that's a bell ringer that time.
Matty Leeds there on Bodine Thompson.
Meeting of absolute beef, that one. Dropped off to Tetavano, who crashes back towards the middle, and another huge collision inside the 20. McCarthy Scarsbrook that time rocked to his foundations, but he stood up in the tackle. Here comes Martin now, trying to edge his way through on this left edge, but Saints stand up to it. But Leeds are inside the 10. 12-0 it is Saints. Leeds on the attack though. Austin throws the dummy, locked on that time by Sirinen. Brilliant tackle. Dragged him down, judo style. Short ball onto Bentley. Bentley wrestling his way to the line. Just about held out. Leeds throwing some shapes here. It's a little dab into the end goal, and it's brilliant hands from Saints to drag that one in and end the Leeds attack here. 2 minutes to the break. It's Saints 12 at Leeds 0.
But it's okay. It's okay for Leeds. Stay there.
It's a good outcome to end the set. You can see what Leeming was trying to do. But what it does allow, it means it's going to be tough now for Saints to come out. You know, tackle 3 now, they're still not out the side of the 10.
Tell you what, Slipfield, his hands from Curtis Sirinen, who was right down at his bootstraps, wasn't it, that one?
Silly point, I thought, Matt. Big hole here.
Just generally, or cricket-wise. Here we go. Lomax takes it almost to the 30 now for Saints, who have to clear their own lines. Through Wellesby's kick, now the chase is good. Look at Matty Leeds. What an engine this guy's got. Missed the 2019 final with a perforated valve. Goodness me, how painful that must have been. But he's fit and firing, and he's been a big part of the last 3 grand finals, including this one. Sutcliffe crabbing across field. Sirinen makes the tackle. He must have got through plenty of tackles tonight, Curtis Sirinen. Hardacre with a weave, trying to edge his way through the Saints defence. Nobody can put a hand on him. And Hardacre's away.
He got support in his middle.
He's tackled, legs tackle. Johnny Lomax. Brilliant work from Lomax. Leeming though, picks up the back of that. Myler to Martin. Stand-up tackle that time. Smuggles it away to Hanley. Here comes Cameron Smith. Short ball. Leeds are in, are they?
It's over.
Leeds are in.
What the try.
Superb from the Leeds Rhinos. They've had to be patient. This is going to the video referee. 28 seconds of the first half remaining. Try on field decision.
Is there an obstruction in the build-up?
Cameron Smith.
Video referee to match director. There's an on-field decision to try.
We'll pick the bones out of this
Can
one.
we please check all available angles? First of all, the touchline, please, and then through to the grounding.
Well, it was an exhibition in keeping the ball alive, gents.
Well, it was brilliant. They've had 3 sets on the line. They've managed to restrict some territory. They get a break. They're looking if he touches the foot on the touchline.
He's in the field of play, so playing on from here.
Yeah, that's play on. That's play on.
Pass in the field of play. That's fine. Let's move on, please. So that's okay. Ball's passed. Keeps going, he keeps going, he keeps going, keeps going. Paul's there, please.
And the grounding looks good here.
Thank you.
From Cruz Leeming, who was brought onto the field to inject something for Leeds.
Yep.
And he might just have done it too. Cruz Leeming.
Yep, 100% Matt Newsom. I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Zach Hardacre. You know, it was him that did the carry, and what I liked when he did that ruck carry is he saw that I think McCarthy Scarsbrook wasn't square at marker. He ran at him, he evaded him, and then the strength And there we go.
There you go, confirmation. Try for Cruz Leeming. And just as they did against Wigan in the semi-finals, just before half-time, Leeds post some big points and just set a bit of jeopardy about this game again.
Well, it's on the back of finishing at the right end of the field and being at the right end of the field. You're absolutely right, Hendo. Hardaker was brilliant in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Ricochet, bounce, nearly pass, doesn't bounce. Here we go. He bounces to us. 4 or 5 Saints defenders. Breaks through the middle. He's got 3 yellow jumpers, blue yellow jumpers on his inside. Goes to the outside. But because they restructure really quick, Leeming sees Myler going down a short side. They think Saints have got him out on the sideline, but they find an offload. Cam Smith finds an offload. He finds Leeming, who started and helped the move progress, and he had to work really hard to get it down, and he did. Super try, super try.
Reece Martin kicks the goal. The hooters sounded. St Helens 12, Leeds Rhinos 6. It's half-time here in the Super League Grand Final.
Thank you, Matt and Brian and Andrew. Let's head down pitchside. Kev Brown and Steve McNamara are there for us as well. Hey, this is great, isn't it, Kev?
It's amazing. I just feel, you know, Leeds will be really happy with the scoreline, and it's almost a carbon copy of last week, you know, where they dragged, well, they hung on for 30 minutes and then scored a penalty goal. It was 4-2 last week. At 12-6, it doesn't reflect the game for me, Mark. I think, you know, at 12-0 or even at 18-0, I think Saints would have been justified for that. So Rowan Smith, he's just walked past us, very happy, and I think rightly so, because he knows he's hung in there. And they've shown that resilience once again.
Because we talked pre-match, didn't we, Steve? The importance of the final play of the set, the importance of a final play of the set. And for a lot of that half, Leeds just that final bit, that final moment, they just weren't quite executing.
Yeah, look, they're a more expansive team now. They want to take some risks, they want to play, and you get that. But it was, you know, they turned the ball over in this left-hand corner. You know, they got the ball back. They turned it over in the right-hand corner. They got the ball back, and then with a little bit of fatigue in the St Helens defence, having to pull off kick returns, Leeds have got some of the best broken field runners in the competition. So if there's any any space in the middle, people like Zach Hardaker will take it and create a position for that try. So yeah, a little bit of pressure there from them.
And then the final thing on Kev, which is again is something we talked about pre-match, is the importance of the kicking game. Well, there's always the importance on the kicking game, but the kicking game here, and actually how St Helens have executed it on different sides of the pitch with different tactics.
Yeah, the variation's been great. They've put, you know, pressure relieving kicks in, a couple from James Roby as well, very crucial, and backed up by a kick chase. But then, you know, Jack Wellesby's going down the short side and finding a little kick to expose some, you know, flat defence and aggressive defence coming up on the edges.
Nope. We seem to have lost Kev at that precise moment, even though he's only 30 yards away from me. Kev Brown, Steve McNamara, thank you. Second half on the way. It's been a brilliant first 40 minutes. Saints 12, Leeds 6. Late goal in the game between Northern Ireland and Kosovo. Chris Coles.
And what a huge goal this is for Northern Ireland, for their Nations League survival, for Ian Barraclough's future. Josh McGuinness in stoppage time, terrific diving header into the top corner. Windsor Park erupted. If Northern Ireland can hold on, this will be massive if they are to survive in League C of the Nations League. Still playing, final moments of stoppage time. Northern Ireland 2, Kosovo 1.
Well, in the Nations League earlier this week, Scotland beat Ukraine. Means they've gone top of Group B1. Tonight they're taking on the Republic of Ireland. 7:45 kick-off. Roddy Forsyth.
Yeah, and Scotland have been overtaken by Ukraine at the top of Group B1. They've beaten Armenia just a little earlier. But this is the Scots game in hand, and if they win it, Steve Clarke's players will be in pole position ahead of their return against Ukraine in Poland on Tuesday. But last time this pair met, the Scots were bulldozed aside in a 3-0 defeat in Dublin. Clarke believes they stalled on that occasion, and they have revived, as could be seen on Wednesday against Ukraine. Craig Gordon's in goal. That was an area of doubt because his wife was waiting to give birth, and that produced a baby boy this morning, so he's in goal. And at the other end of the team, Shea Adams is replaced by Lyndon Dykes. He scored twice in midweek, and John McGinn is captain as he wins his 50th cap for Scotland. Ireland start with two of their summer scorers, Obafemi and Parrott, but with Brown on the bench.
Final whistle has gone in Northern Ireland. Chris Coles.
Northern Ireland finally have a win in the Nations League at their 15th attempt, and what a finish to the game at Windsor Park. Josh McGuinness's stoppage time header securing a 2-1 win. It looked unlikely. Kosovo took the lead. Vedrat Marici's low drive for 1-0 Kosovo. Gavin White equalised. The second half sub from close range. As the minutes ticked by, it looked like Northern Ireland's winless run would continue until McGuinness's header. It does wonders for Ian Barraclough's future. It does wonders for Northern Ireland's survival in the Nations League. It goes to the final game. That's against Greece on Tuesday, but Windsor Park, a very happy place. They finally have a win in the Nations League. Northern Ireland 2, Kosovo 1.
5 Live Sport coming live from Old Trafford this evening for the Super League Grand Final, where St Helens lead Leeds by 12 points to 6 at half-time. Second half on the way, 6 minutes to 7. Here's Matthew Bone.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Mark, the Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer has said the Conservatives have shown their true colours by announcing tax cuts which help the wealthy. Arriving in Liverpool for the start of his party conference, Sir Keir pledged that Labour would fight for an economy that helped working people. The Shadow Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport, Lucy Powell, dismissed government arguments that tax cuts would help the economy grow to the benefit of everyone.
They believe that somehow that's, first of all, going to stimulate growth, which we disagree with, but secondly, that then that growth, they say, will then trickle down to everybody else. Well, that just won't happen, and we've had that economic experiment in this country for the last 30 years.
Iranian police say they've arrested more than 700 protesters during anti-government demonstrations. At least 35 people have been killed in the protests, which began after a young woman died in custody after being detained for breaching strict dress rules. Thousands more people have been trying to flee Russia to avoid being called to fight in Ukraine. A long queue of cars is reported to be waiting to cross into neighbouring Georgia, while Finland has also seen a sharp spike in arrivals. Matti Pikaniti is an official at Finland's border authority.
Finland now sees increase in the border traffic at the Finnish-Russian land border. So, for example, yesterday, some 7,667 Russians arrived, which is clear increase compared to the last week when we had on Friday some 3,500 Russians entering Finland.
500,000 people in eastern Canada are without power as the region is battered by a huge storm. Post-tropical cyclone Fiona brought winds of more than 90 miles an hour, tearing down power lines and trees in Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. And the American space agency NASA has called off the scheduled launch of its mission to the moon next Tuesday because of the approach of Tropical Storm Ian. 2 previous attempts at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida were scrapped because of technical problems with the uncrewed Artemis 1 spacecraft.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Bring you some reaction to the finish at Lords, which was hugely controversial as India won by 16 runs to take the ODI series 3-0. What happened at the end was England's final wicket fell to a Mankad dismissal, so non-striker Charlie Dean effectively run out by Deepti Sharma. Dean's 35-run final wicket partnership with Freya Davis had put England in touching distance of an unlikely victory. After the defeat, this is what Kate Cross said with Henry Moran.
Well, Kate, your reaction at the end of that?
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? I think Charlie and Freya were batting so well there, and it felt like it could have come to a really close ending, but ultimately India have got the win.
What's the reaction of the team to the way the win has come about?
Well, we're disappointed we've lost the game first and foremost. But yeah, ultimately it's Deepti's decision what she does in that moment. And yeah, that's how they've chosen to do it. So
I suppose the argument is if England hadn't lost those wickets, there is no opportunity for that position.
We've not lost that game by that 10th wicket there. We've lost the game earlier on, not getting enough runs on the board and leaving it a little bit too much to do maybe for the bottom order. So obviously ultimately there's frustration about losing the game, but I think when we take a step back and we'll see where we lost that game, it was a lot earlier than that 10th wicket.
It's a series defeat by 3-0, but there will be bright spots that you look back on and will need to look back on in the fullness of time.
Yeah, we've got a really young dressing room. I know there's a stat going around about the average age, I think being close to 23, something like that, which when you're missing 3 of your really big senior players who've played a lot of cricket and then You add into the fact that the last time we were playing championship games of cricket, we had Annie Shrubsole on the field as well. You know, there's a lot of changes in the dressing room, but there's some amazing talent coming through. We saw that in the T20 series, which 10 days ago we were beating this team. So there is a lot of excitement. I think it's how we harness that now and move it forward. It's always disappointing when you lose. But some of these girls, 17-year-old Freya Kemp stepping out to play at Lords today in front of 15,000 people for her country, you know, this is what you dreamt of when you were a little girl. And hopefully we get more opportunities to play at grounds like this and fill them up and show to people that, you know, we can put on good games of cricket. So yeah, hopefully we can take some positives away from it.
Springy reaction from the WSL next. Arsenal beating Tottenham 4-0 at the Emirates, over 47,000 there. Jonas Eideveld, the Arsenal manager, spoke afterwards to Joe Curry.
Well, Jonas, that was a wonderful scoreline for Arsenal today. Could you have asked for much more from your side in terms of performance?
No, I think the performance was that resulted into that scoreline, and I'm very proud of how we bounced back from our performance against Ajax. I think we positioned very well. We played a very good possession game, which made it very difficult for Tottenham to press us, but that was our positioning that made that. Tottenham is a very good team, but we did look, their press didn't look that aggressive today, but I think that was thanks to our positioning.
You hit the ground running today, straight out the blocks, scoring very early on. Was that the message from you today, to go out and hit them hard?
Always, we want to be 100%. We want to be fearless as a team. So for us, it's important to be proactive rather than reactive.
I don't know if you're aware of how high you jumped when that first goal went in, but did you allow yourself to enjoy the game today and the occasion as a whole?
I do. When I was younger, I was very good in that athletic sport where it's high jump, isn't it? Yeah. I never trained it with any club, but I was good. So somehow there, I think I have a talent for jumping.
Well, it was very impressive and an impressive afternoon all round. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jonas Eideveld with Joe Curry. Let's go to the Gallagher Premiership next. Wins for Bristol, Leicester and Saracens this afternoon. Although the result of the day came at Six Ways, where Worcester Warriors, despite everything that's going on off the field and all their financial problems, thrashed Newcastle 39 points to 5. Here's their director of rugby, Steve Diamond.
Out with a bang, eh? 5 tries and probably left 2 or 3 out there. Fair play to Newcastle, you know, they probably caught us on the bad day. A lot of emotion running through the team and the crowd, and good to see a good result.
What does it say about your players when they marmalise Newcastle in the scrum like that?
Well, I think, you know, there's a bit of information that you don't know. We had a vote yesterday, a vote whether we played or not, and it was virtually unanimous that we play, the injured players. So the guys, you know, I give them the option not to play. I think there's a big risk if we are going into suspension on Monday. But they said to a man that the loyalty to the club and the pride that they show for the club, they were determined to play, and I think that performance sort of mirrored that.
Could you just explain that? Because they were playing under high stakes, because if they got injured, they may have found themselves out of work for a year.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're insured for injury, but if the potential buyer doesn't come in and we go into administration and nobody comes in, then there's no rugby left. And if you get a serious injury, thank goodness there was no serious injuries today. But you know, the game we play, they do often happen.
There was another big prize winner of the Cambridgeshire at Newmarket this afternoon. Majestic was a 25-1 shot trained by Mick Shannon and left it late before finally hitting the front, ridden by Aidan Keeley.
Ecstatic, you know, it's by far the best of my career, so I don't really know how to put it into words, but yeah, all the help I've had with the jockey coaches and all of my family, so and Mick Shannon, Miss Shannon for giving me the ride. Yeah, there's a lot of people behind it. I'm just the one riding the horse, so no matter what price you are, you're always thinking you've got half a chance maybe if the luck goes right, and today it has.
Aidan Keeley, who rode Majestic, the 25-1 shot winner of the Cambridgeshire. Andrew Henderson, Brian Noble, part of our commentary team here at Old Trafford as we wait for Leeds and St Helens to come back out. Talk about Leeds having momentum from the last 10 games of the season. They have momentum now going into the second half.
They do. It's a little bit of a replication of last week. Honestly, the Holes were punched in them all last week for the first half, and you thought...
Well, we said bend not break.
Yeah,
bend not break.
It was like rope-a-dope. You know, the old alley, foreman fight. They just took everything. This first half, Saints have been even more vigorous than Wigan were last week in their line speed, in their determination to put this Leeds team to bed, and yet they just keep getting off the canvas, finding the energy. They managed to stay at the right end of the field for a few sets, which gave them the opportunity, with their broken field runners, Zach Hardaker particularly, to prize open the opportunity at the end. I do think Saints are a tougher nut to crack than Wigan are, but I still think Leeds are massively back into this game.
And that was the first time that they'd really managed a sustained amount of time by the St Helens line.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And we spoke about it during the comms. There was too often in that first half, Leeds weren't finishing sets on their terms. They weren't turning the ball over in the right areas of the field, and what that didn't allow them then was to get that field position and opportunity. And then the times that they were down there, they just weren't clinical. They were coming up with errors. They weren't finishing their sets well. And like you said, that last sort of period of that first half, they were able to get a little bit of field position. They were able to ask a little bit more questions. They showed a little bit more patience in their play. I certainly think the introduction of Bodine Thompson and Cruz Lim has really changed the dynamic within the game. And we spoke about it, that normally Cruz doesn't come on at that stage of the game, but Rowan Smith obviously felt he had to change the dynamic of the game up. Cruz comes on, and we've seen how lively he's been around that dummy half role. He's certainly got them going more on the impetus going forward. And a fantastic try to finish the half, where it certainly sets it up for an exciting second half. And I think Leeds have the ability to nick this one, Mark.
Got a couple of little different issues, I feel, from last week to this week. Saints have more energy. They've had a few more rests. Leeds have gone to the wire with their energy levels at Catalan. They went to the energy levels last week at Wigan. Can they replicate the kind of second half performance they did last week? I'm not sure. That's my big question mark over Leeds, because I think Saints are a better team energy-wise.
And the problems that Saints are causing them through Lomax, who is everywhere, but also that, sheer power and brute force, really, of Parsi and Conrad Hurrell in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Parsi has been really hard to handle. He's proven to be hard to handle when he was on. I'm sure he'll come back into the fray this second half and do the same again. I'm like you, Mark. I've really enjoyed the attacking play from St Helens. I feel like they've had good energy at getting play the ball wins. I think Lomax has been very instrumental in terms of what attacking play has been happening. They've hit you both sides of the ruck, short sides, long sides, lots of players in motion, a lot of questions asked to that Leeds defensive line, which they've unlocked them on a couple of occasions. And I guess if it wasn't for Leeds' energy, compete and scramble defensive efforts, there may have been more points posted. And I think Saints will be a little bit disappointed they haven't got more points on the board, just because of the amount of questions and possession and opportunities that they've had. But again, if they can replicate that second half, I think they are going to be hard to not go on and win the game. But if they don't, the longer Leeds stay in the contest, the more pressure Saints will start to feel, and those little cracks might start to open, and Leeds may nick it come the back end. We'll see.
For the neutral, more of the same in the second 40 minutes, please, alongside Andrew and Brian. Here's Matt.
Cheers, Mark. Second half about to get underway, and the atmosphere at Old Trafford has not subsided from minute one as Zach Hardaker sends an end-over-end kick downfield, taken in by Jack Wellsby inside his own 20, and he, as a big ball runner that he is for a half-back come playmaker, he is happy to drive that one into the heart of the defensive line for St Helens, and Matty Lees picks up off the back of that, and we are right back into that relentless tick, tick, tick every time.
Well, this is like one of those old-fashioned, where they put the skull caps on, the leather skull caps, and button down the hatches and just run as hard as they can.
It's a bit like, remember that game you used to play, Run At Me? You know what I mean? One-on-one, run at me in the backyard.
That might be in your house. No, right in my house.
Yeah, you had
smashing me brothers.
You had rugby league playing brothers, didn't you? Yeah, it should have been some fearsome game in your household.
Run at me, are you serious?
Roby then from the 20 finds Lomax, 30, finds Lomax. Kick goes up into dangerous territory here. Leeds pouch it at the back through Myler. To be fair, Richie Myler has been peppered and he's stood up to the task.
Yeah, he certainly has, Matt. I've been quite impressed with some of those catches, because we've spoke about the kick chase team for St Helens this evening. It's been first class, competing, it's on you, and Richie Myler's come up trumps on a couple of occasions under a lot of pressure. Fair play.
12 points to 6 here. Leeds Rhinos in possession, trailing the reigning champion St Helens. But that try jagged through Cruz Lehman at the back end of the half, after scores from Matty Lees and John Bennison in that first half. have put Leeds just 6 points behind a converted score. Leeming. Last one here for Leeds, who have been trapped in their own end of the field this time. End over end kick from Austin, taken by Benison, and he's got a line about to set itself on the 40 before he skids on his knees, almost like a kid at a wedding. Goes sliding into the Leeds defensive line.
Yeah, but it's not been the ideal start for me from Leeds, and I think it started from the kickoff. Now, the first kickoff they did, Saints were tackled 25 metres off their own line on play one. And then you look at the second time they have to defend. St Helens are starting their set 40 metres off their own line, and now they've been awarded with a penalty. So certainly not the best start for Leeds Rhinos.
That's the other issue for me, the penalties that they've given early in the first half, which meant they were constantly in their own half, under pressure. It creates a psychological pressure on you to do the right thing. And the second half started very similar to the first. Poor kicking game from Leeds, not quite the distance that they need, and then compound that with a penalty to give St Helens free field position.
Yep, straying off and Blake Austin high. And then Saints a penalty. It's been slugged to touch, and suddenly they are in range again. It's Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, the big Cockney, who trucks it in. Picking up off the back of that might well be Johnny Lomax this time. Away to that right side, Sione Matautia. All muscle. Drives it into that Leeds defensive line. They're on their own 10 here, on their own 20, sorry. Now they're up to the 10, short ball out to that right-hand side. Looking to punch through Batchelor that time, inside the 10. Little pick down the short side from Roby. Held up over the line by Leeds.
That's his pet play, that. The show and go near the line. Show's open, comes back, almost catches him unawares.
Here comes Saints again. Rumbling forward through Matautia. Up to the 10. Was a winger at one stage, now he's filled out, and he's certainly a big middle on this occasion. It goes out the back to Benison, short ball onto Percival. I tried to tick that on. Leeds shut down the play, possibly at the expense of a turnover here, and it should be Saints' ball.
Will be.
Well, Briscoe had to do it
100%,
because he was stripped for numbers. The only thing he could do was bat that ball down, Matt. So for our listeners, they were outnumbered on the fringes. It was all day, every day and all day a try. Benison gets the ball out, comes to Percival. Briscoe has to bat that ball down because he's done.
Yep, you're right there, Brian. That defensive play had to be made there by Briscoe. No other alternative. He had to come in and kill the play down, and if he didn't, if he'd have stayed on his heels, he would have created that 2v1. It would have been try time for St Helens in the corner. As they move now.
Wellesby trying to take the line on. Wellesby skimming. Wellesby looking for a gap. There was no gap. Leeds just kept scrambling.
Wow.
I thought he was over there.
Me too.
Roby goes back to the 10 with Lomax, pushes it back onto Matty Lees, looking for a second here. Scored early in the first half, looking for a second here in the second. Tackled just short of the line. Lees with an option, Saints with an option either side of the ruck. It's Lomax onto Sirinen. Desperate defence again. Benison steps in, a set restart here. Another 6 tackles the Saints. They're 5 metres away. Lees desperately clinging on here. As the Saints attack rumbles forward, roars into life. Lomax onto Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, stomping his way into the 10 metres here. And edging towards those posts, centre field. Roby goes right, now finds Lomax. Lomax with a bit of a dummy and a shimmy and a little dart. And he's held out just in front of that Leeds Rhinos goal line. They are being worked over here. Saints throwing everything. Shape and numbers and angles and pace, and here comes Hurrell. Tackled just short of the line again.
He's over!
Down! Conrad Hurrell! This one's going to the video referee again, but Conrad Hurrell was a picture of perseverance, and I think he plugged that one on the line, and it's gone upstairs as a try on field here from Liam Moore.
I think he has, Matt Newsom, the Tongan powerhouse that is Conrad Hurrell. He is somehow manufactured a way to get his arm out of that collision, reach out and score on the line.
He had 4 blue jumpers around him. He shouldn't score that try.
He had no right.
He kept going, he had no right. But this arm came out of nowhere, like a T-Rex arm, and just slammed it down. Absolute power and strength. Here, let's...
Thank you. I'm happy I've seen all the angles I need, and I have now made my decision.
And he'll be sending this one up now. The decision is pending. Saints fans can almost taste the try. Oh, the wait is tense. They are building up for the try. Conrad Hurrell using that bulk to maximum effect. And Saints extend their lead to 16 points to 6.
Well, the dam broke. It was pressure. They had a set from the penalty. They had a reset. They had a 6 again after 4 plays. And that's just too much pressure on psychologically on this Leeds team. They get numbers there, but they've got a bloke who's energised and who's strong and who's going to get there. And he gets there. He's just pounding his way over the line. They've pounded this Leeds defence into some kind of submission. Because a little bit of what Leeds are doing as well. They're not ending sets as well again, but wow, Conrad Hurrell. Stop me if you can. It's like that film, Catch Me If You Can. Well, this is Stop Me If You Can.
Absolutely, and they've used that play a couple of times this evening, haven't they, where they've turned Conrad Hurrell back under against the grain. It's proved to be quite effective. It allows him time to really ramp up and get that momentum and get his pistons pumping with his legs and the leg drive and the power and the bump. And you know, even on that occasion there, Leeds had plenty of numbers in attendance. He had no right to score the try, but the Tongan powerhouse gets over and extends the lead for St Helens.
Tommy Makinson adds a goal. 18 points to 6. The buffer restored. Will Leeds scrape themselves off the canvas again? Because Saints have just landed a big blow in the complexion of this final. Zach Hardacre with the restart here for Leeds. They have to compose themselves. They have to box it off and reset and come back, but Saints, they know, will come rattling again. And it's McCarthy Scarsbrook up to the 20 here. No let up in their intensity. Matty Lees again.
I can't find a Saints player that's running less than hard and at 100%. And that's the difference for this Leeds team. They're going to have to concentrate for the full remaining 33 minutes to get anything anywhere near Saints' line.
Curtis Sirenan with some footwork before just engaging the big ballast that is the back rower. Saifonpa, the Manly Sea Eagles. His dad, Paul, was a real legend in Australian rugby league but lost grand finals. This is his first taste of the big dance here in England. Tackle from Saints is that on the back of the kick chase, and Leeds have to come out from their own end of the field here. Tucked away in their own 20, and it's Saints 18, Leeds 6 here on BBC Radio 5 Live Sport. Here come Leeds. Do they have a route through? Do they have an answer to the Saints question, which is, can you break us down again? Lehman. Now Bodine Thompson. Ball being moved away to this left-hand side, trying to pick Saints off down the edge. Hardacre was wrapped up, but he manages to shrug off the tackle, and he's still going here, Zach Hardacre. Tackled on his own 40. For all the evasive footwork, I don't think he really gained too much ground that time. Austin sends up another swirler. This time Tommy Makinson trying to track it and does so, and then gets himself on the front foot here, and is tackled on his own 20. Saints 18, Leeds 6 here. It is swinging pendulum-wise in terms of sets being knocked off, but
he's causing some damage, isn't he, Conrad Hurrell? Every time he carries the ball. Just ricocheted out of 2 Leeds defenders there and found an offload as well, which promoted Lomax 15 metres further down the field.
Tackle on Tommy Makinson, just outside the 40, almost up to halfway. Centre field, Matautia takes his muscular frame into that Leeds line and drags his side a little closer to those Leeds posts here. McCarthy Scarsbrook picks off the back of that. He saw a big gap in front of him. Those blue shirts converged and squeezed, and the play was shut down, but Saints on the front foot here again. Lomax tucking it back on the inside. Little ball to Roby, squirts up to Leeming, and Leeds have it back here. 18 points to 6. It's a humdinger.
It certainly is, and we need to see the Leeds side ramp up a little bit more coming out of backfield. I think they need a little bit more people in motion around the ball. It's a little bit one out. Probably need to look at using the back 5 a little bit more too, but they try and shift the point of attack here to this right edge. Hardacre now.
Tackled by Wellesby that time. What a grand final we've got here. Saints look the composed. Leeds always a threat though. And they've gone for the big shift here, and they've got some space. Tetamano racing forward. It's Martin racing forward, sorry. And he's up to the 20. He had support on his shoulder. He didn't use it. He took the tackle. They'll come again, though, here. Sutcliffe finds Leeming. Leeming booms the ball to this right-hand side for must go inside the 10. Great tackle from Sirenen, not allowing him to go any further. Picked up by Bentley. Last one here. Leeds will turn it over right on the Saints line. Oh, they've got a penalty.
Smart play. Smart play by James Bentley. What I enjoyed about that is as he come into the ruck, he looked up, he could see that Percival hadn't got back to the try line, and he deliberately ran straight at him to force that penalty.
You think he's that smart?
Play. Yeah, I do. I saw it. He come into the ruck, he looked up, he saw that Percival wasn't on the line, and he ran directly at him.
Yeah, well, 6 big plays now for Leeds, and a big play by Bentley on the back of that clever spot.
Matty Lee's been helping the field as well.
Doesn't look like he's in good sorts there, does he, Matty Lees?
No, not at all. So Morgan Knowles is coming on as a replacement. I'm just looking for the head injury assessment board, or whether this is a straight. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's the free interchange. Head injury assessment for Matty Lees. The doctors are there, the medical staff are there. We will go to Steve McNamara very shortly, but we'll see what Leeds can throw here as Tetevano crashes in. Bump and spin from him as he's tackled inside the 10. Leeds aiming up, they've got numbers, they've got runners, they've got Donaldson. Donaldson looking to crash his way through. 3 ACLs in his career, and he's still plugging away. Had to fight for a contract. Set restart here for Leeds. Walters throws the pass, goes to ground. Leeds tried to force it. Saints come away with the ball, but they get another penalty.
Yeah, I thought they jumped the gun, to be fair, Matt. I didn't want to cut in on you while you're commentating the play unfolding, but I did think that right edge of Saints had got off the line a little bit early.
Well, I think they had to. They were stripped for numbers. There were only 3 Saints defenders there and 5 blue jumpers. So they've taken a punt. Have a look. They're all out there.
Yeah, another chance for Leeds then. They will tap. They have to. Myler finds Sam Walters, the big 6'4" front rower, who is softened up that time by a combination of Knowles and Sirenen. Tetevano taking the ball under his wing and clattering it into that Saints defensive line, making sure that they know he's there, feeling the full force of it. Myler shovels it wide to Sutcliffe, loses his footing again. Somebody needs to check his studs.
And
he spilled it. And Saints celebrate that one.
Wow.
Like a try. They have been worked hard and they've come up with the goods.
Yeah, they didn't need that, Leeds. They needed to put some pressure on that Saints line, ask questions, get a real positive end to set. And unfortunately there, they come up with a mistake at Sutcliffe as he tries to take Conrad Hoyle on the outside. He loses his footing, and on the way down he loses possession of the ball as he goes into the tackle. And it's disappointing end to set there for the Rhinos. Real good opportunity that was for them there, Brian.
Yeah, and you make the really pertinent point. It's just disappointing for them as well. You take a little bit of a juice out of you emotionally when it's not quite going there, because you've got to find a reason and some energy to get to that part of the field again.
So Saints 18 and Leeds 6. Let's hear from Steve McNamara, Catalan Dragons head coach. What have you made of the frenetic opening 13 of this second half, Steve?
Saints did exactly what they did at the start of the first half and came out all guns blazing, got a try, but Leeds look dangerous, and they look more dangerous in the midfield part of the game here. On the goal line, Saints have got everyone set, they're in play, they're hard to break down, but in midfield there's a bit more space. There's maybe a third man late back out the tackle, the full-back's not in the line, and Leeds do look dangerous from that spot, so don't write them off yet.
Steve McNamara there, some neat analysis on what can make Leeds tick here as Lomax pumps the ball downfield on the kick. Myler takes that unopposed, and the Saints defensive line catches up with him on his own 20 in centre field. The squeeze applied, folded up like a bit of origami that time, and he's trying to clear their lines. Saints 18, Leeds 6 here on 5 Live Sport.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be against, if I was St Helens, next time I get up there, just putting the field goal over. I just think that would really break the spirit of the Rhinos, going 3 scores ahead. Something to think about.
Oh, a bit of loose play there from Leeds. Myler recycles it. Lost a bit of ground though, and he tries to engage through the middle, but Roby is whip smart to that one along with Curtis Sirenen. Here comes James Donaldson. Last tackle for Leeds there are being maintained inside their own end of the field here. Inside their own 40, kick away. as McCarthy Scarsbrook applies the pressure. Hopewati takes it on the full. Benison will try and skim the line, looking for a gap here, and they will begin their set properly. 30 out from their own post here, 40 out.
I think they need to address their kicking strategy. I think this trying to put these midfield spiral bombs up from inside your own half, I don't think it's the right way forward. I think it's proven tonight Saints have handled all of them, and again it's just gifting for me, easy field position. And again another penalty off the back.
Yeah, offside against Leeds. All again tried to jump the gun, but you've got to get the 10. It's just the basics, isn't it?
Well, the basics are Saints' end of sets are better than Leeds at the moment. The kicking game is better than Leeds at the moment, which is probably the difference. And the element of, we call it discipline, it's, you know, giving penalties away when you're trying to get down to the other end of the field is real difficult. It means Saints don't have to work hard to get out of their own half. And for Leeds to express any opportunity in and around the middle, maybe with Leeming running out of there and some of their inside players, they've still got to get to the middle part of the field. What Saints are doing are just bashing the ball up, getting to the right parts of the field, and Lomax is running the show, inside and out options.
Super League Grand Final here. The winners of the Super League season will be crowned here. Will it be Saints? Will it be Leeds? At the moment, it's Saints in the driving seat, looking for a 4th straight win at this stage. 18 points to 6, having won the last 3 Grand Finals. Here comes Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, a veteran of all of them, and 2014 as well, as he is tackled just outside the Leeds goal line. Roby flings the pass to Lomax. Now Wellsby jingling across field, trying to get Hurrell on a one-on-one again. Hurrell with the stampede. Hurrell driving in, straining things up here. Saints have harem-scarum about this Leeds defence at the moment. Roby looking to play the ball on the back of Conrad. Hurrell's charge. Set restart, another set of 6 here for Saints. Sirenen powering forward as he's stopped just short of the line. They are unloading. They are landing. Can they deliver? Wingfield carts it forward and he will be held up. And we'll have to play the ball just short of the line. Roby goes short to Knowles.
Good
Knowles
tackle.
tipped and dumped.
Brilliant tackle.
Cruz Leeming there, hitting underneath the ball, I think. Great tackle.
Roby sweeps to this left-hand side with Lomax. Nice beat from him. Still going here, Johnny Lomax. Tries to go at himself as he looked to burrow in from close range. He's tackled. Elusive. Rubber-legged Wellsby. All chinking and firing. Ball goes over Percival! Percival! Why just a cap tip for Saints? It's going upstairs to the video referee again, but a perfect kick. And Mark Percival, a try scorer in 2019. He's had his injury problems. He's in the side again. He might just have scored. Has he scored?
That's just,
it's 18-6.
That's just weight of pressure. That's just bashing the line. That's Wellsby coming against the grain. That's Lomax creating try-line pressure for this Leeds defensive outfit. And the small kick there from Wellsby was exquisite. If the rugby player could produce anything exquisite.
Absolutely.
Brilliant for Percival.
Absolutely. Well, it's playing rugby, isn't it? It's playing footy. You know, he looked, he skimmed across the line. He saw there was an opportunity to thread the needle. He does that, and Mark Percival, full credit, he reacts. He sees what's unfolding, anticipates it, the kick, gets through.
Look at that one, please.
And I think he scores this try.
Just make sure that he does maintain his hand on the ball as he takes it to ground. Thank you. I'm happy I've seen all the angles I need.
They're happy he's seen all the angles. That looks pretty clear. The Saints fans roared with delight when they saw the replay on the screen here. We're just waiting for the official confirmation. But those at the Stretford end, in red and white, are ready to dance the jig of joy as Mark Percival adds another try to Saints' tally. 22 points to 6. Is the grand final in the bank? Leeds will say no, but they've taken a big step towards glory.
Yeah, it certainly is very much St Helens in the ascendancy at present. And if I'm honest with you, Matt, I don't think Leeds can really argue. I mean, they put the pressure on themselves. I think their kicking game hasn't been good enough, certainly in the second half. It was questionable at times in the first half, and certainly in the second half, the kicking game, the kicking strategy they've employed has not been effective. and also the discipline once again, which we saw in the first half, hasn't been addressed. They are still giving away penalties when Saints are coming out of yardage, gifting easy field position and possession and opportunity. And Saints have been pretty clinical this evening, have took those chances and really making Leeds pay for it now.
Yeah, it's a big hill now for this Leeds Rhinos outfit, because there's still lots of energy about this Saints team. You can see the way they're carrying the ball. You see they're coming back against the grain. You look at Percival's reaction to the try. He's pumped.
Going to go short here.
Yeah, they are going short, aren't they? 24 points to 6. The kick was successful for Makinson. It's Makinson who palms that ball in. It's Makinson looking to take advantage of some broken field here, but Leeds set their line well in the end and make the challenge inside the Saints 30. And Makinson gets up a little woozy, a little wounded, because that was a shot that was put on. Donaldson and Bentley, two blokes with shoulders, happy to bend their backs. Here comes Sirenen, driving up towards halfway here for Saints, who have tasted defeat at the hands of Leeds so many times, but so many of these players haven't suffered those heartache moments.
Well, Leeds are trying to fly out the line and force some errors, but this is a machine they're against. This is a well-oiled, well-drilled machine, and then you get this bloke coming back against the grain, Conrad Hurrell, and it's just, it's not Hurrell, it's Knowles, sorry, I beg your pardon.
And Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook picking up off the back of that, mind you. A couple of the Leeds players have just raised their hand, maybe. They're trying to call for treatment for Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Clock has been stopped. The medical staff are on. And breathe. Whew. It's been frenetic, hasn't it? Absolutely full power. This is a quarter of the second half gone, and it has been full throttle.
Oh, look, it's been fast. It's been ferocious. The intensity has been right up there for grand finals.
These are the best athletes on the planet.
Lomax with the dink into the back. The corner. Saints come up with the ball. It will be Lomax again, who clips one over the top, taken on the in goal. And Leeds will bring the ball clear. It wasn't taken in goal, it was taken just outside the in-goal area in the field of play by Myler, so it was a perfect kick, putting pressure on Leeds, making them come out from their own end. 24-6.
It's been a theme, hasn't it? Even when they've been expansive Saints and they've thrown the ball around and they've found a kick play and tapped it back, they've managed to end up 2 metres from the Leeds try line and 2 minutes in from the sideline.
And Saints, who have those forwards who will plough the furrow, they also have those skillsters, those finesse players in the shape of Wellesby and Lomax, who are continuing to make a big difference. 60,783 fans here tonight. As Austin pokes a kick in behind. Big test for Benison, this, with Leeming in his eye line, and he passed the test. Saints come up with the ball. They lead by 24-6 here on 5 Live Sport.
What do you do if you're Leeds? Coaching this team, Hendo, what do you do? You've got to play expansive.
Yeah,
you've got to really chance your arm, haven't you?
Yeah, I try and encourage a little bit of offload now and try and play hot a little bit. Again, I'll probably encourage the back five to get. I think when Leeds back five have carried Briscoe, Reece Martin, Hardacre, they seem to be making a few dents into that St Helens defensive line. So I'd be trying to encourage those guys with a bit of late footwork and a little bit of change of angle and some offload to try and obviously get some momentum going forward and hopefully get an opportunity.
Well, they're a horrible team to play against, and I mean that in the best possible sense, because they play football on you and then they defend real well on you. So they're a good defensive team as well. I mentioned that.
They're the best.
Yeah, I mentioned that Christian Woolf's legacy will be that
Matty Lees has passed his head injury assessment, which is huge news for Saints, because one, he's an outstanding front row, but two, massive part of that go for. Parsley's back on as well. I'm sure we'll see him running to full effect. He's on the exercise bike at the moment. Matty Lees keeping those legs pumping, keeping those lungs fresh. Matt Pryor about to come back on for Leeds. Into the hands of Myler. Swings the pass. Spin pass out towards Sutcliffe on that left-hand side. But the minute he caught the ball, he was swamped by those red shirts. A bit like when an ice lolly gets dropped and the wasps come buzzing around for it. The kick into backfield is a good one. It's taken by Hardacre, and he spills it. And the ball dived upon by Lomax there, and they'll come back for the decision here.
Well, one thing I will say, Matt, at least there was some competition there. You know, when I watched them do the short kickoff previously, I didn't see the energy or the intent or that competition or fight for the ball. On that occasion there, yes, it was a manufactured kick from Cruz Lehman, puts it up high, but Zach Hardacre, he chased hard, he competed, and he almost was able to manufacture a play on that last play to get something for his team.
Well, surely you kick the ball with a view to either a competition or getting a result, and I think we've seen too much neutral kicking from Leeds. Is that right? Expecting that the spiral will cause a lot of damage from Blake Austin. And what we've seen with Saints every time they've kicked the ball is a competition. They've fought for the ball to try and get a result.
Parsi rattling his way into the Leeds half as he has done all night. The full-on, full pelt front row that he is, and now Morgan Knowles taking the task straight to Leeds. Last tackle just outside the 30, inside the Rhinos half here. Roby from this left-hand side, back to Lomax in the centre of the field, who will hang his kick out on that 10, out on this Leeds right-hand side. Saints left, chase from Percival, but in the end Leeds come up with the ball, and it's well taken again. I mean, faultless effort from those Leeds backline players in terms of dealing with the high kicks that go up. You know, the short kicking game has really caused jitters, but the high kicks have been dealt with consummate ease, really.
Yeah, they've handled them really, really well, you know, at the back. But the reality is they're catching them every time inside their own 10. So they're having to go 90 metres every time, every set to get down here. And you've got to credit St Helens in terms of how they've managed their kicking game and managed the way that they have finished their sets.
Rich Martin tackled just on halfway. Lehman going down the short side now with Bentley. Bentley trying to attack this right-hand side where Saints had set their numbers, and then Bentley loses the ball and then gets it back. It came off a Saints' hand, says Liam Moore, so it's back to 0, and Leeds will start again here on the tackle count. Matt Pryor tackled just inside the 30 on the scrum line's right-hand side. It'll be Leeming who plays it back in field to Mikolaj Alecki, who speeds up as he engages those defenders. Again, wanton, almost reckless disregard for his own well-being. Hardacre, now they've got numbers. Sutcliffe trying to creep his way to the line, but Saints had so many numbers there. They shut down the play, but only just. It'll be Leeds who sweep it back in field. Austin finds Cameron Smith, takes it and plays it just for the line. Lovely from Pryor. Miles on his shoulder. He's still going here with Rhys Martin. Rhys Martin would not be stopped. Has he got the ball down though? That's the key.
I'm not sure he has.
I don't think he got it down.
Well, Liam Moore is going to take this to the video referee, Ben Thaler, with a no-try on-field decision. Leeds think they've scored. Liam Moore not so sure.
Well, I was going to say, I feel that with 15 to go, Leeds have to score this set if they've got any chance of getting this game back and winning it. So this is a huge, huge decision.
Look at that point, it's still up. It's still up. Still up at that point. And it's still up on that angle. I then lose it on that angle. So here we are again, it's his right arm, the ball is not on the ground at this point. It's still up, it's still up.
Well, it's a Saints. They've got numbers in, didn't they? And I think they've just shown enough power and enough presence to keep that ball off the green.
Thank you. I'm happy I've seen all the angles I need and I've now made my decision.
Definitely been held up.
No try. 3 red jumpers in the frame. Rhys Martin's every right to score that, but they said no, you ain't getting over.
No, and I like the fact that Rhys Martin just pinned the ears back and said, I'm going for this. And I do think if he'd just got a bit lower and dived a bit lower a little bit earlier, he may have actually scored that try.
There we go, no try. The screen tells the story. Havley's got another tackle left in the bank here. They will go back to the 10, having been held up. So they still have an opportunity. Jake Wingfield off. Matty Lee's back on for Saints. What a fillip that is for them. Myler, this Saints defence is up, squeezing up. Leeds have lost a bit of ground. It's Hardacre who pokes the kick through. Benison, almost juggled it.
Look at the line speed from St Helens there. From their own line, they've got to the 30. And Leeds have actually handed the ball over 20 metres further back than where they were.
Brilliant.
That's the point I make about this Saints team, about how vigorous they are defensively, Hendo.
Well, they put pressure on you, don't they? They put pressure on you with the ball, because they ask a lot of questions. They have a lot of people in motion. They've got strong ball carriers as well. They've got smart players that know how to make good decisions under pressure. And then they pressure you with their defence as well, as we just saw on that occasion.
Matty Lee straight back into it. No consideration for the Leeds defensive line as he just tears into them. Sheridan picks up off the back of that. It is like death by 1,000 crunches.
Death by 1,000 carries, like that one.
Just punching it up every time. Bang, 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 knocking on the door here. Roby will play it from 20 metres out into Lomax, pushing it back on the inside to Parsi. Parsi can sense the chance opening up here. Flings it back to Wellsby. Sheridan spots a gap. It's shut very quickly as Leeds slammed it. Tackle from Leamy. Now they've got a little bit of space here, Saints. Parsi again rumbling forward. Parsi edging to the line. No offload from him this time. Last one for Saints. Left of the posts. Looking to put this game to bed here. Quarter of an hour or so left to play. Lomax with the short kick. This time it's pouched. This time Leeds come up with the answer. 24 points to 6, 13 to play.
Well, they need something, don't they, in the next couple of minutes, Leeds, if they've got any hope of getting something out of this contest. They need to come up with manufacture something, either a trick play or just try and play a little bit hot with some offload and try and create something.
Well, they need a couple of Saints players to miss their assignment, and they don't look like doing that.
Trying to go wide that time. Forced back in field by that squeeze of Saints. Wellsby tries to fling Pryor to the floor. He brushes him off, but then two more Red V shirts come in, and Matt Pryor finding this route forward blocked off there by a roadblock of Red V. Here comes Leeds again, but Saints into it, but it's a penalty, and that might well be the little leapfrog that they were looking for.
Yeah, they needed that, Matt. I think it was Myler got taken late off the ball. Again, we know that St Helens will pressure you defensively with their line speed, with their inside pressure, and on that occasion they just worked a little bit too hard on the inside pressure and followed through, I think, with a contact on Myler after he passes the ball. I think that's what the Knowles it is that flattens Myler.
Well, the clock's the enemy of Leeds at the moment. 12 minutes to go. They need, what, 4 scores?
Well, 3 scores to
level it up.
To level it up. Take it a golden point.
So you got not only scoreboard pressure, you got ticking clock pressure.
They have to score this set.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
So Leeds have the ball inside the Saints half. Bodie.
Oh, what about that?
Thumped.
What a shot, Matty Leeds. Wooska.
Hendo, love that one.
Get that into you.
Bodie Thompson creeps away from that one a little woozy. Martin trying to take it on himself here. Those Saints players dragging on, clinging on for dear life here. Myler running across the 10. Now finds Cameron Smith. Smith out to Austin. Footwork from him as he stomps his way through the middle. Another big bell ringer.
It was Knowles, was it? Oh, what a
Back
shot.
to 0 here for Leeds. In front of the posts. Smith to Thompson. Again, Saints come out and shut down the play. Desperate stuff here from both sides. 24-6 on the scoreboard. Leeds know they have to score to keep this alive. 10.5 minutes to go. 5 Live Sport in the Super League Grand Final. Cameron Smith, 5 metres out. Saints on their own goal line. They're jumping out, trying to shut down here. Myler goes to Austin. Big fend from him. Flings the pass to Hanley. Hanley chinking across the 10. Stabs the kick to the in goal. The chase is on. Percival side foots it behind. It'll be a goal line dropout. Leeds, you have to say, have not put the cue in the rack at any point. They have kept fighting.
They're certainly not going to die wondering, are they? They're trying everything. They're trying the offload. They're trying coming back against the grain at the middle. They're trying to get their best ball carriers on the ball. Austin with tip flicks. They're trying everything, Leeds, and I just think this St Red V is very resolute, very resolute.
They are. They're swarming, aren't they? They're just swarming the Leeds players when they have the ball. But we spoke about it earlier, Brian, that they're going to have to play hot. They're going to have to chance their arm. They're going to have to come up with some sort of trick play potentially to unlock this Saints defence. And we just saw that on that occasion there, some offload. It was an early kick play. Thought they might have been able to catch them unawares. Great chase from Bodine Thompson and reaction from him off the kick from Hanley, which was a superb kick in behind the line.
All of those things that they've tried, the Red V have been up to, so St Helens have been up to. So they're that well organised, they understand on an offload, you work together, you move forward. Their line speed from their own try line going forward
it's been amazing.
Yeah, really good.
It's been amazing.
Saints 24, Leeds 6. Kevin Brown is down at pitch side. Kevin, how do you unlock this Saints defence?
Well, I don't know. I think it's going to have to come from a kick or a bit of magic from Blake Austin. But just looking down at the Saints bench, the gamble to play William Opoati, I believe it's paid off. He's been very quiet. But that, the try-saving tackle he's just made about 5 or 10 minutes ago, the valuable inclusion of him today, but he has succumbed to the hamstring injury, so he leaves the field now. So that might help Leeds unlock this defence. But they look so good, St Helens, when they're coming off the line. They're hitting so hard. Matty Lees, Morgan Knowles and Ignatian Party, and he been fantastic tonight.
Yeah, absolute bullocking, ball carrying, defence blasting front rower for St Helens.
He's been very good tonight, hasn't he, Parsi? But so's Matty Lees. I just think the whole forward pack of Saints have really stepped up. The guys on the edge, Sirinen, he's got through a lot of work.
They've shared it out, haven't they? Because arguably their best front rower, Walmsley, hasn't played for a few weeks and would have made a big difference for them.
Yeah.
They've shared the work out. Parsi's come forward, Sirinen's come forward, Lees has come forward, McCarthy Scarsbrook off the bench has come forward. So Matauti, so to say that they haven't missed him is a huge statement, because how can you not miss a player of Alex Walmsley's calibre?
So goal line drop out from Saints. Time running out for Leeds. 10 to go in this Super League Grand Final. The champion, after a gruelling season, will be crowned tonight. At the moment, it's Saints who have one hand on the trophy. A 4th straight Grand Final win. But Leeds, who have made the impossible possible at times this season, will not give up hope yet. Myler takes it into the line, finds Hardacre. Now Martin, they've got an overlap here with Briscoe, pushes back on the inside, and Rhys Martin will keep this grand final alive. 24 points to 10. Leeds have not given up on this yet.
Oh, that was fantastic play there from the Rhinos. A lovely move down this right edge. Went through some lovely hands, and it's that man, Rhys Martin. The patience that he showed to draw a pass and get that ball to Briscoe, but equally Briscoe with the skill, again, under pressure to put it back inside of Martin was first class, and fantastic try. I think Rhys Martin, he's been good tonight for Leeds Rhinos, and it was a lovely touch from him there to release his wingman Briscoe, but equally Briscoe back on the inside. You see time and time again when teams are under pressure, they stuff those opportunities up, but not that occasion, and this gives Leeds some hope.
And Rhys Martin tags on the 2. It's been 2 converted scores.
Rhys Martin has been good tonight. First half, second half, he's been a threat. He's made a difference to this Leeds team. Held up over the line just minutes ago, and then he gets it right. Goes through, offload to Briscoe. Briscoe back on the inside to him. 9 minutes for your season. Hendo, 9 minutes. Wow. The blue and gold.
Wow. This could be.
They're underway in the European Nations League game. Scotland against the Republic of Ireland is Roddy Forsyth.
Yes, indeed. We're just in the first minute. Ireland have got a goal kick as Scotland pressed early. Scotland playing with Lyndon Dykes up front as they seek to emulate their 3-0 victory over Ukraine here on Wednesday night. Full house, and you can hear them.
Thanks, Roddy. We'll be across that on 5 Live Sport as much as possible. Here, the climax of the grand final. 8 minutes to play. 24-12 Saints lead Leeds here, but Leeds scoring through Rhys Martin, and their fans are singing. Their fans roaring their team on here as Bentley is lassoed in midfield. Can't put to ground that time by Lussick and Sione Matautia. Cameron Smith, ball play in the halves tonight. He's had to step up for his side. Lovely pass, trying to get Hanley away. Hanley on the foot race, flicks it back to Austin, who was in a forward pass for Myler. It's been called back for a forward pass.
Wow.
No way. That one, was it? The one to Austin? Which one's he called forward?
It's called the ball that released Hanley.
Oh, wow.
From Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe's pass to Hanley.
For the game we wanted to score. Oh. Brilliant from Leeds. Brilliant from Leeds.
Well, it's great ball movement, isn't it?
Yeah, he's called that one?
Yeah, that's the one he's called.
But that one touched the Saints player.
This one.
Oh.
That drifted, I think.
Yeah, but if you throw it backwards and it goes forwards, it's not a forward pass. Those are the rules.
Is that the momentum rule?
That's the momentum rule, yeah. It's true. Yeah. You know, looking at me.
I'm gutted now. I'm just.
You're looking at me. I'm gutted.
No, I'm gutted. I'm just more gutted about the play. That would have just set up the finish.
Mr. Noble's teaching physics this curriculum, this term.
Oh wow!
Darcy limps away. Percival's off as well as Hopawate. So Joey Lussick is having to turn up wherever.
Well, Leeds certainly haven't lost any fans the way they've gone about their business tonight. That was brilliant.
Rowan Smith's side showing tigerish belief and dedication to the cause. Lussick steps into acting half. He will have a little jump out of acting half. Taking on that Leeds line. Taking Saints to almost within 10 here. Knowles has just eased aside by Roby, who takes control. Lomax too. Lomax trying to dart for the line.
He's been good, Lomax.
Oh, he's been first class this evening as Johnny Lomax.
Matty Leeds wants this one. He's winding up. He'll go short instead to Morgan Knowles, who's bent in the tackle that time. Turnover, 5 away.
Point over there for me. I don't know why they just didn't set up for a field goal and knock it over. Game over.
Just under 6 to play. Leeds need 2 converted scores just to square it up. But the way they have played this season, the late heroics against Huddersfield, against Castleford, you wouldn't bet against them making it interesting, that's for sure. 5.5 to go, 24-12. Austin gets the pass away on the outside. Marauding here from Leeds as they edge to their own 40. Hanley into acting half. It was Suckler who took the ball forward that time. Now Austin flings the pass in field to Hardacre. Trying to catch Saints a little bit short on this side. Myler delays the pass to Martin. Matachi makes the tackle. Roby bounces on the kick. Saints come up with the goods.
Well, what a Saints performance that I've rarely mentioned James Roby up until now, and he's gone about his business, don't get me wrong. He's done all the things that the world-class hooker that James Roby is does.
Just not sure that kick play was on from Martin there, was it? I don't know why. They still had tackles up their sleeve, and they were in good field position.
Ignatius Parsi brushes aside Bentley, almost gets beyond Myler, who made a desperate cling-on tackle that time. Lussick finds Lees, who punches up.
Oh, good shot!
Hold up, that was.
Great tackle, Donaldson on Lees.
Well, he bends his back, doesn't he, Donaldson, and Lees didn't like it, went back for some seconds, clip ball into the in-goal, towards the in-goal, sorry, taken on the 10, Briscoe.
That should
Leeds
be a
come up with the ball.
Yeah, it's a penalty, he's tackled
him in the air. That should be a penalty to Leeds, but it's not.
4 to play, 24-12 here. Saints in command, Saints heading for a 4th straight Super League Grand Final win here, and the big showpiece is Austin spills the ball inside his own 20. Saints players celebrate. Time is ticking down, and Leeds could just have seen it slip through their fingers for good.
As good as I think Leeds are, that's the ball game, Hendo.
I agree.
Poor pass, wasn't it, Austin?
Cameron Smith, it was, it threw the pass to Austin. It was a poor pass, and at the end of the day, they're trying to move the ball, they're trying to play adventurous style of rugby because they're chasing the game, and these things happen when you do play a high level risk of play. There's a high chance you will make errors, and that's what's happened on that occasion. But ultimately, you can't take anything away from St Helens. They've been absolutely brilliant this evening. They've controlled the game for large parts. They've been, for me, the better team, offensively and defensively, and they deserve to win this game.
And it's credit to Leeds that they've made it as exciting as it's been.
Absolutely. The effort and the endeavour from the Rhinos has been brilliant. Like to say they're still in the game, you know.
Lussick with a little goal line sneak there. He was going to prize his way in. It's his pet play, isn't it? It's his trademark. Saints just a couple of metres out here, looking to ice it, looking to cap this grand final with some points here. Batchelor chinking and straightening up. Wrapped up by Bentley that time. He wasn't going to allow him to just edge his way through. Tackled on the 10. Posse running amok here again. Last one here for Saints. Left of the posts. Just a couple of metres away. Lussick with the kick. Taken by a Saints player. But it's a set restart, back to 0. Liam Moore compounding it for Leeds here. They are under the pump, 2 to go. Back to the 10 with Lomax. McCarthy, Scarsbrook. who's playing on for another year at the age of 36. Still going, still rumbling away in the big Cockney. As Lussick goes back to the 10 with Lomax. Lee's winding up again. Real vigor and venom about that. Tackled 5 out. Lussick waits at the play the ball. Leeds gingerly gets back to his feet. Lussick, short ball to McCarthy's Starsbrook. They are unloading here. Every bit of heavy artillery being launched at Leeds here. Lussick, short ball. Again they're held out. They are chalking down the clock. 1 minute 18 and counting. Lomax to drop the goal. It hits the post, the wrong side of the post, and bounces wide.
Well, it would have been icing on the cake because there's only 1 minute 30 to go left in this game. It's been a pulsating end-to-end adventure. Leeds are not going to come up with anything this evening, and that's a measure of the quality and the professionalism, if you like, of this Saints team and their individual talent as well.
To win a grand final takes some guts. To win it twice on the spin takes some character. To win it 3 times is a remarkable feat. To win it 4 times is breaking a record.
Yeah, and you've got to take your hats off there to the head coach, Christian Wolff. He well and truly is leaving this club, and he's created a legacy with this team. They have become the best team in British Rugby League consistently for the last 4 years. That is unbelievable.
He's trying to play their way out from the back. Still, at this stage of the game, 30 seconds to go. Saints hunting in numbers. Their endeavour, their bravery, their energy, their effort has been on show tonight, despite Leeds' best efforts. Kicking the backfield, taken by Bennison. And Bennison's on the scamper here. Bennison almost up to halfway. 13 seconds and counting. Saints fans will count down their team. Here goes Makinson to run it back behind the posts. St Helens have won the grand final for a 4th straight season. Christian Wolff becomes the first coach to win 3 on the spin. Record-breaking Super Saints have done it again on the biggest stage.
Thoroughly deserved too. Brilliant performance from St Helens, and it had to be. It had to be full of energy, full of line speed, full of a quality of skill and carry with offloads, and a precision kicking game from Johnny Lomax has brought this team to their 4th successive victory in a grand final. But you have to have 2 teams to tango, and Leeds have been manful in defeat. They've shown what they've been, why they went on the run of 9 and 10 games, and the standard and style of football that they've played would have won many hearts tonight, but their hearts will be broken because they haven't come away with the spoils.
Yeah, look, congratulations St Helens. You know, that was a professional, controlled and aggressive performance from them. Thoroughly deserved winners. They were first class for me for the majority of the game. They controlled that game, they were patient, they executed their plays well at the right time. Their kicking game was excellent, and I just thought defensively they just really put Leeds under pressure. Credit to Leeds for staying in the contest, but well done St Helens.
It's a record at 9th grand final win for St Helens. They are the champions in 2022. Full time, Saints 24, Leeds 12.